Welcome to Yes Also. I'm Suzi Barrett, and my guest today is LA improv delight Anna Rajo. Many of you know Anna as one of the hosts of One Big Jam at UCB, and she also plays with ASSSSCAT and the long-running Herald team Lohan. There's a lot of great stuff in here, including some helpful inside pointers on jams, both for those of you who run jams and for those of you who play in jams. And in part 2, we hit a delightful chapter where she talks about being a therapist and how being an improviser has informed her work as a therapist and vice versa. All of our part 2s are accessible if you go to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe, and then it connects to your regular feed and you just get them in your feed. And for even more Anna, make sure you keep your eyes peeled because Lohan is about to graduate from Herald Night and create their own show on their own night. Check out the UCB schedule and go see them. Okay, and now the episode. Here's Anna Rajo. Let's do this. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. End of interview.
Great. That was awesome. Thanks for having me.
This is great. I don't know much about your early timeline. You came into my awareness when we were doing the diversity panel together for the diversity scholarship at UCB. But I want to start before that. What's improv? How did it arrive?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so maybe some context to set the scene is I grew up in LA. So I grew up going to UCB shows as a teenager and in high school.
That is wild. I think you're the first person that I've talked to about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What part of LA did you grow up in, and how did you find out about UCB, or how did it come into your awareness?
I grew up in Koreatown, and then my senior year of high school, I lived for a time in an apartment on Cherimoya, so like right around the corner from UCB.
Wow.
And after I graduated high school, it was my sister and I just living in that apartment, like unsupervised. We were absolutely like nightmare tenants. We would like block the parking, and like a single mom who was a nurse would like not be able to like leave the parking to get to work. Like we were horrible.
This is a treatment for a Judd Apatow movie.
But in that like time, that summer of my sister and I living alone in that apartment, we would go see UCB shows and like invite friends and then like go, drink, underage drink at our apartment.
Sure, of course. Were you interested in improv before that? Or was it like you saw the marquee and saw the line outside of UCB and went, what is this? And then found
No, I was interested because I went to performing arts high school. I went to LACHSA and I took an improv class. Yeah, one of the lucky kids. I took an improv class there in high school as an elective and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I grew up doing like theater camps and things. I was part of the Silver Lake Children's Theater Group for many, many years.
How incredible. What a life.
Yeah.
Man, you're like my young self's, like, if I could have body swapped with anyone, I would have been like,
me. Yeah.
You come live in the suburbs of Michigan where nobody knows what comedy is, and I'll come do this arts life. Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. So you started going to UCB. Do you remember like the first show you saw there?
I actually can't really remember. I remember going to shows, but I don't remember what it was just because I don't think I knew like the names of the people, but I'm sure it was probably like Facebook show, I just can't really remember. But then I went to college in New Orleans at Tulane, and then I moved back to LA, and that's when I signed up for Improv 101. And I think it was really Broad City that for me was like, oh my gosh, I really want to be Abby and Alana. Like I gotta go. And I knew that they took UCB classes.
Yeah. And of course, like who wouldn't want to be them?
Yeah,
they're brilliant.
Absolutely.
That show was great.
So good.
Yeah. Their voice so comes through in it, which I feel like is so rare on TV where something gets unspoiled by network fingertips.
Absolutely.
Did you, at this point when you're signing up for classes and starting to like make a go of it, were you like, my career is going to be comedy now? Or were you still like open to any acting and anything that happens?
I think senior year of college, I was really overwhelmed by the choices. I was like, do I go to grad school? Like a lot of friends were doing the Peace Corps or applying for Fulbright scholarships. And I was like, what any of these paths should I take? I was sort of like a high achieving student. I'd gotten a full ride to Tulane and just felt a lot of pressure. And I did stand up at like a leadership retreat talent show and like beginner's luck crushed, like absolutely killed it. And I was like, I think I'm like the funniest person that's ever lived. I'm going to make it. I'm going to go back to LA and I'm going to make it. I don't need to do the Peace Corps or Fulbright or grad school. Probably wouldn't have gone into any of those things, but I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to like make this decision. And I just was like, I'm going to go to LA and like, I think pursue what I'm meant to pursue, which is.
I'm a walk-on for the rounds.
I was like,
I think I'm that good.
Yes. And my friend who I went to college with, I was like, do you want to move to LA? Because we were on the same college sketch comedy team. And there was like not a big comedy scene in New Orleans. So like our sketch team would kill it and like sell out. You know, it's like there's not anything to compete with. So I had this inflated sense of confidence, which I think was good, honestly, because it allowed me to come here and like not be terrified. I just was like, I'll move back to LA and take improv classes and like probably get offered an HBO show, right?
Yeah, I feel like our brains at that age haven't developed enough of whatever it is, the amygdala or whatever that says like you should be scared and shame is possible and you're not good. Like like to be young, right?
Totally. Yeah.
I look at like the big swings that I took when I was younger and it's like almost embarrassing now. And it's like, no, but that's what got me to those cities and I never would have done that. And it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Youth is wasted on the young, but also like I don't want that sprinkle of recklessness anymore.
Totally.
What was your experience? So you come in hot, being like, I'm the funniest person at the leadership retreat.
Yeah.
What was your experience then, boots on the ground, doing it?
I think a pretty classic like UCB 101 experience. I was like, I'm hilarious again. Like this is affirming I'm hilarious. And then I took 201 and I was like, actually, I've never known anything funny in my entire life. So, you know, I think the kind of normal, like at the beginning, it's all fun. And then once you start to learn the kind of rules and technique and game, and it was like hard for 201, 301.
Yeah.
And then fun again in 401.
Right. Yeah. Once you kind of get the gears working together and can kind of, it's like the like literally riding a bike analogy where it's like once you have the balance, then it's not miserable anymore.
Yeah.
But you need the balance first. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I got lucky with really great teachers. I had like Jessica Eason, Sean Diston, Julie Brister. So I had like really wonderful people creating awesome environments to learn in. And so I think I got lucky in that.
Do you remember any standout like nuggets from your from any of those teachers or moments where a light bulb went off or something got clarified for you? Any like teachable moments?
I think for me, Jessica Eason it informed so much of how I am as an improv teacher, because I also teach improv, where she just made it so much fun. It was like something I looked forward to every week. And it was just such a reprieve from like, you know, I was working at a charter school in South LA where like, you know, I was just dealing with like chaotic classroom situation. I was just like, oh my God, my weekday's so overwhelming. I get to come to improv and just like laugh and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think that clicked for me, that I'm like, before anything, it just has to be fun.
Yeah.
You have to have a good time, because if you're not having a good time, like why are we in an improv class or program or performance?
Why are we all walking in a circle acting like elephants as an adult? If this isn't in the pursuit of silliness and joy.
Exactly.
Do you remember anything like, so you were talking about the classic experience of like 201 and 301 where the wheels kind of come off because it becomes more heady, especially in the UCB curriculum. Was there anything that framed it in a way that made it more understandable to you, or was it just reps that kind of started making it feel
I
more
think it was reps, yeah. And I think it felt really affirming to hear teachers be like, it just takes some time and that's okay. And I was like, okay.
Right.
It takes time.
Practice your instrument.
Yeah. Which I honestly, that's what I tell I think it's true. Like, I don't think there's a shortcut to getting game it just takes time.
Right. And game isn't everyone's like natural style, and that's okay too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think of yourself now like as like a gamey player, or do you think of yourself more as like one of the other options, more character, more emotional, more narrative?
Yeah, I think maybe all of those. I would say. Yeah, I don't think I'm that game heavy of a perform. I think because I perform on Herald night, it's like drilled into me to be thinking about it when I perform a Herald with my Herald team. But when I do other shows, I have so much fun not necessarily playing game and just playing character, emotion, narrative, callbacks, like connecting things.
Yeah. Talk to me about, we're going to bounce around in time a little bit. I want to know, because you straddle such an interesting period, having like watched shows at UCB kind of close to its inception here, all the way to present day playing on Herald Night. Have you noticed a difference in the vibe of Herald Night or anything? And I'm asking this not as a leading question, as a genuine curiosity, because I don't go to Herald Night much anymore. But like, not because I don't like it, just because I'm busy and I live far away. Okay. No, please listen. I'm
offended.
Come back.
Yeah. Come watch my Herald team.
Okay. All right. I see what this is. Yeah. Like, have you noticed, like, does it feel different in any way? Has it changed, or is it the same, or is it different because of your vantage point now, or what are your thoughts on that?
I remember when I was in class, Herald Night felt very like for marginalized people. So for women, for people of color, for like anyone that's not like a straight white man, it felt like there's like one slot and you have to excel. Like,
and everyone who's not the other majority category is all competing against each other for that one slot.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you're either Carl Tart or Ego Modem or like, you know, some star, and like, and if that's not you, there's no place for you.
Right. Good luck, because Allie Beardsley got the one queer slot.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I remember when I was coming up, it felt like all of the historically marginalized voices really were like grasping for a place. So there was a lot of like identity specific improv teams. So it was like my Latino improv team, Gringos, and Arcade Currency, and Cool Asian 420. It was like, you have to find your ethnic group and clamor for a spot on a show. And it just felt like you really had, or Obama's Other Daughters, like it. And in some ways it was really exciting to be a part of that and to, you know, get to band with other people. And in other ways it just was like, dang, we have to like slap our identity across a poster to just like demand any space in this theater. And that felt really exhausting. And it felt like there was so much space for white male mediocrity and no space for anyone else to try and fail and explore and grow. And that felt really frustrating.
Yeah. Does it feel better now? Not better, like all done.
Yeah,
but
it's
like
fixed. Yeah, it's done. It's resolved. Yeah.
I realized as I was saying that, it's like that's the lingo you use with a kid when you go like, all better.
It's fixed. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, does it feel like it's moving in the right direction at all?
I feel like in my classes it's moving. Like when I see the demographics of my class, I'm like, whoa, like this class feels really diverse on so many different levels, like race, ethnicity, and like age and lived experience and
That's
professional
great.
background and cultural background. Like, so I feel like my classes are really just eclectic in a refreshing way.
People who grew up in Koreatown, people who grew up in Los Feliz, in Silver Lake.
Exactly.
People who grew up on Chirimoya and Beechwood.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, there's someone from the Valley in every class, and it's huge for representation. Yeah.
Just as a side note, one time I had an interesting experience in class when I was teaching 401s. This student of mine who was like a really brilliant, he was like one of the stars of the class, like just really, and he doesn't improvise anymore, just not, you know, he's just like, he always had a different career path, but he was like naturally good. And he came up to me after class one time and was like, I noticed that oftentimes in scenes like Scientology is used as a punchline, and I'm a Scientologist. And he's like, that's often like a heightened move or whatever, or like a button. And I wonder why like everyone feels like permission to laugh at that, but not other religions. I was like, oh my God, yeah, sorry. But it's like, it is so interesting. Like, it's important to have different people from different backgrounds, and it can be like, you can have light bulb moments where you're like, oh yeah, what? Yeah, we do, like, we've decided that that's a joke, but this isn't. Yeah,
totally. I remember one of my classes, I think it was Josh Simpson was the instructor, and I was in a scene and I can't remember what, but like basically it was like, haha, the joke is like, turns out I'm adopted. And that was like the haha of it. And I believe it was him. If not, I don't, he was like, just so you know, like the punchline being I'm adopted, like actually isn't that funny? Because like it's a lot of people's lived experiences that they're adopted, and it actually be a point of pain or conflict or just emotional baggage. And like, it's not really necessary for it to be like, you're not real family, you're adopted. And I was like, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much for telling me that.
And it's not to say that it can't ever be in a scene. It's like, challenge yourself to have that not just be like the one-liner that's like a joke that subverted everything. It's like, if that's a part of the scene, challenge yourself to make a scene where that's a part of it, or part of that story or that character. Yeah, it's interesting. But again, I haven't said it in the first place, but I am also guilty of all of this stuff. Like I have been that person in a group game where everyone has said something funny and I'm the last person and I gotta like top it with something unexpected. So I say like the Scientology joke or the whatever. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that classes are becoming more diverse in every direction. And talk to me about your experience on the diversity scholarship, and talk to our audience about, I've mentioned it on this show, it's come up with other guests, but we haven't spent a ton of time on it.
Yeah. So I was a recipient of the UCB Diversity Scholarship, and it allowed me to take classes through the program. And then Mano Agapian was the kind of the first diversity coordinator, and then he was transitioning out, and they posted a job posting, and I was like, wait, I want to do that. So I applied and I got the position, and was paid maybe $20 an hour as a 24-year-old or something, to single-handedly run the UCB diversity program.
Good. So you felt supported, and what an opportunity.
Right.
That's great.
So looking back, I'm like, that's wild that was how that was handled. But I really did love that position. And I loved being able to, again, I was like so young, I didn't realize I was being exploited and that this program was under-resourced and blah, blah, blah. But the positive is that I really felt like I got to put my energy into something that I am passionate about, which was making UCB more accessible.
Right. For other people listening who run theaters and training centers around the world, what can they do to implement something like this? Or what was like kind of the nuts and bolts of that program? Like I didn't run it. I was just like, I would come in to do the interview. Like there was a panel of us. People would write essays, right? And then we would interview them. Do you talk about how someone might set this up for their own theater?
I mean, I think so much of it just goes to like resources. So like put money into these programs. Yeah. And hire people, pay people, and really think about investing in teachers, investing in staff, investing in students, like making it like from beginning to end, the performers on all fronts of the theater, like a really inclusive space. And I think just putting money in that is huge. Like I felt like when I was in that position, I had all these ideas and they're like, well, great. Well, like we can't really pay anyone. I'm like, okay, how am I going to put together a panel, or how am I supposed to do anything without any money?
Right. Yeah, like we all volunteered because it was like a thing to believe in and a way to like give back. But you can't run a program just on volunteer labor. Like you getting paid $20 an hour, I didn't know that. That's a real bummer.
I think when I ended after 3 years, it was 25, but it was like, a lot of work for not a lot of money and very little resources.
Yeah. Talk to me about running jams. You host the One Big Jam, which is, I think, the best jam.
Thank you. Yeah, I run it with my two co-hosts, Joe Faye and PJ McCormick, who I've been performing with for like 10 years. We came up together. We were put on our first Herald team together in 2019.
What was that team?
It was called Jet Set.
Yes.
So we've really just like enjoyed performing together. And honestly, they're like so good at the admin around producing the jam, which I'm not good at. And I feel like that is not something that's maybe talked about, is like the skill of producing shows is so important, and not everyone is good at it.
No, and it's hard. And it's like, and there are people who have like a golden touch for it. There are certain shows where it's like, oh, that one's always sold out. Or
Jeff
always
Whitaker is my like dream. He's the best producer ever. He's so good. Yeah.
Yes, it's unreal. Yeah. Throughout so now you guys have been running and hosting One Big Jam for years. Yeah. What are your takeaways from that? This is a big topic that comes up a lot, and I actually have a subscriber question that I'm going to get to about it. Yeah.
I think that maybe I don't even know if I have that intense of a philosophy. I'm just like, hey, we're here to have fun. My role is to just like keep things moving, keep things safe, have sort of a hands-off approach. Like it's not really about me shining. Like a lot of times I'm not even there'll be like 15-minute sets. I won't even be in a 15-minute set. I'm just there as a presence to facilitate this environment for students to get stage time.
Yeah, gotcha. Like when you say that, that's interesting to me. Like it's an idea where like even just the presence of you standing in the background of a scene or standing on a back line kind of holds an energy there where it's like, well, the teacher's in the room, we want to be on best behavior, or like the camp counselor's there and she's smiling, so we must be doing a good job. Yeah, that's interesting. I never kind of broke it down like that, but that is important, of course. And I've had that experience where I've sat in on like hosting jams, and of course there's a dichotomy that happens with me. It's like half of me is like, well, I'm gonna just stay out of the scenes because it's their time to do this. And then often I'll see like the other hosts be like, get out, because it's like they want to play with you. So like I don't want to feel like a hog, but I want to help. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's different because we invite a guest host every week. So like if you come and you're the guest host, I'm like, yeah, they get to perform with you this week. This is the week that you get to perform with Suzi Barrett. So Suzi Barrett should be in a lot of scenes. But because we're there every week, I'm like, I don't need to be in all these scenes. Yeah. I'm just here to I'm
supervising
maintain.
The field
Yeah,
trip.
Totally. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like a chaperone. And I also think it's really important when students are coming up to be able to do bad improv and survive it.
Yeah.
So I don't feel the need to like save scenes that are maybe not going well. I think if it's like feeling scary or problematic or uncomfortable, I'll like edit or something. But I'm like, if they're just figuring it out and not getting a laugh, I'm like, that's okay. That's part of building up the muscle of being able to tolerate the discomfort of being bad at something. That's what you need.
You're so right. My therapist talks about that a lot. Like that we do ourselves a disservice when we try to avoid discomfort, because it's like building that muscle of distress tolerance. Is that what it is? But like it gets easier and better every time. And if you don't work that muscle, if you just avoid it, then you are robbing yourself of improving or getting that life experience and having it be ultimately easier and having all of the discomfort go away.
And I think I'm robbing the students of the opportunity to learn that like I can go out, I can say something, I can not get a laugh, I can go to the back line. Maybe I'll be embarrassed, but I lived to tell the tale. Yep. And that's huge. And if I go in and like save it and make a joke and get the laugh, I'm not giving them that opportunity.
I love that. Yeah. This is the first time I've heard one of the like leaders of a jam talk about it like that, rather than being like, I'm always there to save it with a punchline or make them look good or whatever. Yeah, I love this take. It's also, if you think about it, in the scope of what an audience can be for an improv show, it doesn't get much safer than a jam, because everyone, presumably, or 99% of them are students. They know what it's like. They're also nervous. They're probably thinking about themselves and their own nerves more than like how much you ate shit. Not you, but
me.
The other people. How much you, Anna, ate shit.
I eat shit every week. Yeah.
I want to ask this subscriber question because it's a good one about jams. Noah says, I need tips for succeeding at jams. I find jams so much more challenging than anything else. I'm sure I'm not alone. Sometimes it's hard to even get a word out if you're one of 16 people on a stage. Maybe tips for newer improvisers at big jams.
One, I think just so real, so normal. Like, I think that's such a common experience. I hear that from so many of my students. And I say like, it's okay to let it take a month for you to be able to say something. Like maybe the first week you go, you're like, hey, I just raised my hand and I got up and I stood on the back line and I didn't say anything. That's okay. That's step one. Then the next week I was in a group game. Then the third week, just like building up the comfort on stage. I think it's really hard to be like, I'm stepping in and then I'm like having a killer scene at the beginning of my jam career or whatever. So just knowing that it's okay if it takes time. And I think the more you go and the more comfortable you are just stepping out on stage, the more comfortable you'll be like being the first person to initiate a scene.
Right.
Because there's always some quiet space, usually I think it's really scary to be the first person to initiate a 2-person scene in the first set of a jam. But if you've been like working up towards that, then like, yeah, get out there and be that first person.
And equally hard is like being the responder to that first initiation. Often someone, bites the bullet and steps out and says their initiation to no one, and someone else has to like jump off, and like it can be hard. The flip side of what Noah is describing, I kind of also want to tackle, which is like, what about if you are someone who is comfortable, you already, let's say you graduated from theater school and you're like ready to do this, but everyone is like talking over each other, or the scenes are so chaotic that you're like, how do I even do this? What's your angle there? Or what's your advice?
I think maybe it's time to like start an indie team. I think if you're like, okay, I come every week and I have like clear ideas and this is kind of chaotic and I have the desire for like better improv or more kind of stable improv, I'm like, maybe you need a different improv environment, because I think jams are just sort of like inherently a little chaotic, and that's part of it. And I think jams are more a practice in being on stage and knowing what that feels like, rather than having like a great improv set. And if you're chasing a great improv set, go make an indie team and submit to shows and do that.
Yeah. The analogy that's like coming to my mind right now is swimming lessons. Like, did you ever have like little kids swimming lessons, or have you ever seen it where it's like the first level is just dipping the kids in the water, or like throwing them in with their water wings on and letting them like flail around and feel what water feels like. And it's like, if we reframe our idea of the purpose of a jam as like, the purpose is not to like hone your comedic voice and practice your characters and do great scene work and make a cohesive show. The purpose is to feel what it's like to stand on stage in front of an audience.
Absolutely.
And that purpose is served whether you're silent or speaking or whatever. Yeah, that's so interesting.
And I think it's a good vessel for like community building. There's a lot of regulars, so making friends. Like, just I hear students be like, how do I like get involved at UCB? I'm like, go to the jam, start making friends, building community, chat with people after. Like, that's, I think, what it's for. And if you've been going for a while and are feeling the urge for something different, pursue something different. I think my advice too, I noticed in this second time reading through this, because I read it silently before you got here. Full disclosure. I appreciate you saying that. I was worried.
I want this to be an honest, reciprocal relationship. The first line is, I need tips for succeeding at jams. And maybe that's like something to be kind of reframed. Like what is success? And it's successful just to be there with a supportive, positive attitude. And my advice, Noah, based on this question is maybe use this as an opportunity to take like a passive, like if you are someone who's like, I can't get a word, like work the muscle of being like, I'm going to be available in case anyone needs me. And I'm going to really pay attention to what everybody else is saying and doing. And if they need my support, then I'm there. Because that's such a valuable muscle to work that we rarely get to work in classes, because classes are often like 2-person scene, 2-person scene. It's rarely like all 8 of you and one of you is just going to be a silent support giver. You
Absolutely.
know? Yeah. I feel like we had a little more of that at IO, where it was like, play the furniture, be the clock, you know?
Yeah. I also think that there are people that go to jams that take up too much stage time. And they also need to form an indie team and find other stages to perform on. Yeah. So I think some people, you know, and we say this a bit at the beginning of every jam, it's like for some people, you're working the muscle of restraint. For other people, you're working the muscle of bravery. So if everyone's working those two muscles, it'll all even out. But I do think that there are people that love to perform and come and every week and take up a lot of space on stage, which I understand. It's so fun to perform. I love performing. But I think that might be a sign that you need to set yourself up for more performance opportunities.
Well said. That was so much more diplomatic than how I would have said it.
Like, get off, shut up, don't come back.
Go do your shtick with your college bros in your own apartment. Yeah. No, it could be a woman. It could be anyone. It's equal opportunity. We don't know who's taking up a lot of space. Anyone could take up a lot of space.
But there's just true. Yeah. And there's just so many, like, I think what's awesome about the comedy scene in LA post-pandemic is that it's not just UCB. There's so many other stages, so many other schools, so many spaces. Like, put a little gumption into like figuring out where to perform, and like very quickly you'll find other spaces. And there's, you know, even at the Annex, there's shows where you can bring your own team and sign up. Like it's possible.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because your improv career spans many genres. It's like Herald Night. We just talked about jams, which is like its own genre. Yeah. But like Herald Night is its own beast, the indie scene, and you've had like a bunch of successful indie teams. There's like now many different spaces to play in. Like doing a show at Elysian is so different than doing a show at like Lyric Hyperion. Talk to me about the scope of that. Do you have like standout things or something that arises as like your favorite style or something you've enjoyed the most? Let's just kind of talk about the tapestry.
Yeah, I think coming up before the pandemic, that's when I was really like putting in so much energy into improv. My indie team Gringos, we had a show at Second City. We'd perform at IO, at UCB. So
how did you get your Second City slot? It's like irrelevant now because it's a space that doesn't exist anymore. But I'm always curious about like.
I can't remember, honestly. I don't know.
Great answer. Sorry. That's like most of my improv memories. I'm like, I don't know. Someone asked, or I asked, or I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like now I'm honestly like a little bit on the back seat. Like I'm really impressed by what other people are doing. And, you know, We Improv and We Just and all these other spaces and people that are really spearheading the indie improv scene. I don't really feel like I'm that, you know, feet on the ground anymore, but I have so much respect and appreciation for what other people are doing.
Yeah. What do you like? What tickles you when you go see shows? Is it just like the general genre of like, I love that people are doing stuff, or is there specific stuff that like really lights you up? And you don't have to like name names if you don't want to, but like types of things.
Yeah. I think I love Chicago style improv. I did a show with a friend of mine, Waleed Mansour, who put together a bunch of Chicago improvisers. And I was like literally crying on the back line laughing. And I was just like, the way that they are playing with character, the way that they are acting, the way that they are embracing silliness is so fun, so refreshing. I felt like high. I was just like, this is the best feeling ever to just get to perform with people that I don't normally perform with.
Because they were investing so deeply and it was like, they're not joking it. Is that?
Yeah, they're just like, really good really good character actors, really silly, allowing them to like follow story, and just there's an openness and a freeness. And maybe I don't know that much about Chicago improv, but like it felt like I was like, this vibe of Chicago improvisers is special and awesome, and I feel so grateful to just be a part of this today.
Yeah. I second that. I have been in scenes with Brad Morris where like during the scene, it's like an out of body. Like I become someone watching this going like, how is he doing this? Yeah. Like, how is his face doing that? Like, I see him as a different person right now. Yeah, really, the style of good acting that I will never achieve, no matter how many acting classes I take. My body I just can't do that. I can't access whatever that is. Yeah. Do you said like you don't play around on the indie scene much anymore?
Yeah, no, well, so I'm a full-time therapist, so
Congrats.
Thank you. So that I would say like takes up most of my time and energy. and then performing on Herald Night and teaching. So
it's a lot.
Yeah.
For being a full-time therapist, that's still quite a lot of improv.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's stick here for a second. How did that enter your timeline? And let's talk about how that interweaves with improv. And
well, in the pandemic, I got laid off from UCB, as everyone did when it shut down. And then I was nannying, and my parents were like, "Hey, so what's the plan?
What's up with jobs?"
Yeah, like, are you going to be a nanny forever, or what's and I was like, that's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Wow, really excellent work, Mom and Dad.
Yes.
Wow, you know what? And we're done here, because that question there's no way I can top that with an answer. So I'm going to see myself out.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit on that one in the car and cry for an hour and just call you back. But it did, their gentle pushing helped me be like, okay, now that I have some time to think, what do I want to do? And for me, I just really need financial stability and emotional fulfillment.
Why? Why would you need either of those things?
I just felt myself getting kind of depressed being a nanny full time in the pandemic. And I was like, I don't want to. And I, worked in restaurants and worked retail. And I just kind of was like, I just can't do this for the rest of my life. I need something that I am excited to do every day while I'm pursuing comedy and acting, which I love. But the longer I got into it, I just was like, there is no rhyme or reason as to who makes it. I've seen incredibly talented people not make it, and by make it, I mean being able to make a living, just a humble living in Los Angeles.
I want to get right back to that, but as a tiny off ramp, I was watching the Olympics last night. Figure skating.
Beautiful.
My God. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Stunning.
The talent, stunning. Yeah. And the amount of work. It's these are people who spend 20 years, 30 years getting up at 4 a.m. every day and doing the most insane, risky, hard to do shit.
Yeah, it'll bring you to tears.
It regularly does.
Yes.
Even in non-Olympic years. Yeah. But we're watching it last night, and there's this amazing, perfect couples routine, and then one of the girls landed this amazing thing wrong and slightly flipped her ankle, and it was just boop, boop, and they got out of medal contention, and she's crying. And one of the announcers, I think it was Tara Lipinski or someone who's a former skater, goes, "There is no sport in the world that is kind. You spend your whole life dedicating everything you have to something. But on the day, if everything doesn't go exactly right, it's just over." I was like,
oh my God.
God damn. It's a more exaggerated version of what the acting career experience is. It's it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many times you try. If it doesn't happen, then it just didn't happen. It's so it's that really reflects that for me. It's at some point, when do you go, okay, I'm still doing this, and also both things can be true. I would like to pay my bills and have emotional fulfillment, and okay. So
yeah. So, and I think it's different. I think some people are okay. Some people are I want this more than absolutely anything, and I will live in a twin bed with 5 people in an apartment and whatever, write my scripts and audition and do what I can in the pursuit of making it. But I just was I'm getting older, and I want, to get a facial and to just not be grinding and hustling so hard.
Yeah.
And I was what? And I was really thinking ahead about okay, what do I want my life to look like at 40? And what do I need to do now to set myself up for that? And I wanted a job that, as a woman, I could continue to do as I age and be respected, which is quite few.
Interesting that was at the forefront of your consciousness. You're so right. That's just not something I would immediately think of. But yeah, of course. Yeah. So, okay. So airline pilot is out.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted a job that I could physically sustain because I found nannying, you know, like I'm a like physically active person, but I just was like, I'm getting tired already. Like nannying at 22 versus 28. And I was like, okay, what's going to nannying at 38? Like it just does. It's a lot of physical energy.
Right. And it's a lot of like lower back pain.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why moms get tired.
Yeah. Or like working in restaurants, you know, I just was like, okay, this is fun in my 20s, but like, I don't know if I can, like, I don't want to be like in body pain working at a restaurant, you know.
It loses its charm too when you're like the 60-year-old at the micro screen with a bunch of 20-year-olds and you're the one that's like grandma, you know.
Yeah.
Not to say that people can't have any job at any age, but yeah.
Totally, yeah. And it's just like a personal thing where I'm just like, I'm like, I don't like being tired that much.
Yes.
I just want to not be in physical pain after like 8 hours of nannying or, you know, finishing working at a restaurant at midnight. So,
and it gets exponentially harder. It really does. Like I'm in my late 40s now, and there are days I wake up and it feels like I wrestled in my sleep. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. Why am I like sore everywhere?
Totally. Yeah. So there were just some kind of like tangible things. And then I was thinking about what I loved about the jobs I'd done in the past. So I was the diversity coordinator at UCB, and then I had worked in education. I'd worked in like theater arts education. So I'd worked with people, and I loved working with people. I was like, I loved, you know, I would have one-on-ones with students from all different ages, and my one-on-ones with the diversity scholarship recipients, the interviews. I was like, I really love that. And my sister was the one who was like, why don't you be a therapist? And I was like, okay, that's something to think about. And then I started telling people, I was like, I'm thinking about maybe becoming a therapist. And a lot of my friends were like, that's amazing, that you would be so good at that. You should absolutely do that. And that felt really affirming to like float this idea and not have anyone be like, oh.
Right. Are you sure?
Yeah, like yikes, you know?
Yeah. I know I'm a little late to the party, but you would make a really good therapist.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you should do that.
Thank you. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and Britt Faye, who does our marketing. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us, so it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.